Welcome, everybody, to our coverage of the Gama Trade Show 2017. I'm Zee Garcia, and I'm sitting here with Ignacy Cevicek from Portal Games, who's going to be giving us a look at several games today.
That is true.
But we are going to start with first Martians here.
Hello, everybody. Hello, Zee.
How you doing?
And first Martians. It is a game that we announced last year, I believe, and it's finally ready to hit the streets and hit the retail. This is the follow-up for the Robinson Crusoe, as probably many of you already know this. So we took the basic engine of Robinson Crusoe and put it into the space, onto the Mars. So you will be exploring, as in Robinson Crusoe, changing the different areas on the Mars. You will be building some, not items like in Robinson Crusoe, but repairing and building rooms and facilities.
Okay.
You will have some morale, you will have some weather dice. In this situation, there are not weather dice, there are facility dice that you roll and some things are destroyed.
Okay.
Basically, if you know Robinson Crusoe, after a few minutes you will just adjust to the changes in the system and explore the new possibilities and new adventures and new missions. In Robinson Crusoe, we have 6 missions, 6 scenarios, 6 different scenarios. Here in this game, we also have 6 missions, very different. I have here a couple of them. In one of these missions, players lose the probe and they have to find the probe because it's just lost and they have very low amount of time to find it actually. They have to build a farm, they have to build the whole facility, so build everything from the scratch because they just landed here on the Mars and they have to build everything. Like every single scenario is totally different, just like in Robinson Crusoe. So there's like 6 mini games, I would call, 6 different experiences. But what is more, what we already announced in press release, there are 2 campaigns included in the game. So I think I have one of these campaigns, and the big, you cannot browse, you cannot see what's going on. So you have to read it very carefully. 2 campaigns inside the box. Each of the campaigns have 5 missions. Each of the missions have a whole one big plot line that goes to the grande finale, the conclusion of the story. So altogether it is like 16 different missions, different scenarios. A lot of things to explore in the game.
Now, the first 6, as you said, that are included, those are you can play them in any order.
Yes.
They're a one-off shot.
Yes. So these 6 missions, the standalone missions, are like in Robinson Crusoe, huge replayability. We'll try to break them once again and win finally. The campaign is more like play it once or maybe twice and that's it. Yes, you explore the story, you know how it will develop, and you're not no longer interested in the exploring the story. The missions, the basic missions, you will play them till the death. Finally, until you win. Yes.
So this one, as opposed to Robinson, you can win this game. That's what you're saying.
My English is not very good. No, I wasn't going to say that. No, that was my mistake.
Now, tell me also about the app implementation that is a big part of this design. How does that work? Yes, how is that going to be implemented?
So there is a supporting app that took all the, as you can remember, in Robinson Crusoe, we have 3 decks of adventures and 1 deck of event cards. All these cards are put into the app. So we have at this level, because we are adding basically, it's super easy, simple to upload new cards. So at this moment we have around 500 different events and adventures, which is twice as much as in Robinson Crusoe already. And because it's fun and it's quite easy to just upload the new cards, so we will upload these cards over years, I believe. And so we'll support the game for a long time. So one of the advantages of having app is huge replayability. We can put so much more content into the app because it has space. Yes, we can put 1,000 events, 2,000 events. The other thing is that with the app, we put a keywords for every single event. And these keywords are if this is easy, medium, or hardcore, or if this is about exploration, building, on research. So when you start the game, you choose how many players you want to play, for example, 4 players, and then you choose easy, medium, or hardcore. And depending which difficulty level you chose, the app will take different events, which is super cool. So actually you can win the game if you choose the easy level. So, for example, in a easy level events, some of them are actually good for you. Because we just want, you play with your family, you play with your kids, it's Sunday morning, you just have to have a great, cool experience. And these events will just provide you interesting story and not punch you in the face if you're playing easy mode. If you play medium mode, it is like Robinson Crusoe, quite difficult. If you're playing hardcore, that means you're crazy and you will be dead in 2 rounds. But basically the app chooses the right events in the right circumstances. As we tell it in the box, in the rule book, it adjusts experience to your expectations. You say, in the beginning, you want to easy, medium, or hardcore, and the app will adjust to your expectation. The same with the theme of the scenario. If you play exploration scenario that is about exploring the Mars, the app will take different events for you. So it will once again adjust the situation and build a coherent story for you because the app has keywords to every single event in the game, which is, I think, cool.
Now, let me ask you something. Especially when you're playing the scenarios that have multiple missions.
Yep.
I know you've mentioned previously, and I don't know if this is still true or if I'm kind of wording it right, but I understand, or I believe that something that happens in the first game, let's say, will affect later on games in that same campaign.
The campaign is all about follow-up. Like this is everything is saved after the first game. You save status. If you have some diseases in the first scenario, you have them till you heal. If something is broken in the hub, it will be broken till you fix it. Like it is all building the huge story, which gives totally different speed of the game and different, I would say, pace of the game. Because in the single scenario, if something is broken, say, okay, whatever, we don't need it in this scenario. If something is broken in the campaign, you are terrified because you know that in the second scenario or in the third or maybe in the final one, you will need this room at some point for sure. And you are scared and you have to fix it. So the psychology of playing the campaign and knowing that every single problem will stay with you until you fix it. There is no like, it is game over, we don't need it anymore. Yes, you will need it. At some point you will need it for sure. So it is completely different psychology approach, I would say, to the campaign. And this is really, really awesome. And in the first scenarios of the campaign, players always try to upgrade the habitat because there's a ways to upgrade the habitat to get some new abilities and skills for the characters, like experience points, because they know they have to boost the stuff they have because they will need it later on. It's all about the building, completely different approach. And the basic scenarios, the basic missions are more, I would say, Euro style. You have a puzzle, like in Pandemic, you have some task, objective, how we solve it. And we think, and we solve it. In a campaign, it's much more team-driven. You are not focused so much on Euro mechanism, but about we have to survive, we have to care about us, etc., etc. Much more story-driven. So different approaches. I think that we will find different players choosing missions, and some players choosing campaign, depending on what they are interested in the gameplay, actually, in the experience.
Okay, so the big question then would be, when is this going to be available? And that's the answer we get. Great.
I would say
it is done, right? This is not just like something you printed off the internet somewhere.
We promise all pre-orders to get the game around May or June.
Okay.
And we will keep this promise. And then the retail will get this July, August. I assume Gen Con is realistic. Like it's a huge production for us, the biggest production so far. And summer is safe.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
So there you have it. First Martians, later this year, we're going to say.
At some point for sure.
At some point for sure, most likely 2017.
Probably.
All right, let's take a look at what's next. So you said this is your biggest production. Let's take a look at some smaller productions coming out from Portal Games. All right, Alien Artifacts.
Yes, this is the game you already played at the BGCon. The case is with Alien Artifacts. The game is a sci-fi game, is a 4X card game, and we are familiar, we understand that if any publisher says they have 4X card game, everybody is like, sure.
Right.
There's so many card games that promise this experience of having this 4X big epic game, and they fail, no names, but it happens. And so we knew from the very beginning, we don't market the game, we just let people play the game. That's why we went to the BGCon to play test the game with the gamers. That's why I'm here with the prototype. That's why we are going to Niagara next month to play. Like we are going for the whole year playing the game. And when finally the game is released, we will have so many testimonials of people who played and say, wow, it's actually is 4X game, card game. And that hopefully people will at some point trust us and believe that it is possible to have a 4X card game that is a really, really true experience. And the game is about discovering new planets, as in every single card game of that type. It's about developing technologies. We have 4 different paths of technology: exterminate, air, exploit, etc., etc. We have a fight, combat, that you can attack other players. Like all of these elements are in the game, and the gameplay is very simple. I would just took a few cards just to show that this is a prototype, of course, version. In your round, you draw a couple of cards depending on your production. Let's say you have production of 3, and from these cards you can do either. We see, yes?
Yes.
Either you do technology because you have science points. Either you go for the discovery because you have discovery points. Either you go for attack the other player because you have attack points. Either you use it as a wild and add it to any of the points. And that's it. And it's so super simple. So in your round, you take your cards, you see what's your best for you in this single round, and you put it. Development. Or I go to explore, or I go to attack somebody. And that's it. You round, bang, next player. It's super simple, and yet because we have, for technologies, we have 16 different technologies, 16 unique technologies in 4 different paths. So it is also have more than 60 unique cards with different technologies. Each of the technology gives you special power and leads you to different strategy and different scoring system and different things. So with this huge replicability of different technologies, with all different planets, at this moment we have about 50 different planets. Each of the planets has 2 different skills. So you can exploit it in 2 different skills, or you can, which is new, you haven't played this way, this is new stuff, or you can settle the planet. So you're not exploiting them, but you are settling there and get some bonuses for the whole game, for the future round. So it is either exploit or settle. So once again, new choices. With different ships and different ways of the attack, once again, different choices. And we have something new that it wasn't ready at the BGCon. We have different factions. So we have started with a different setup at the very beginning and different skill for your faction. It is good in the fighting, it is good in the technology, it is good in that and that. Insane replayability, insane number, value of content again, and the gameplay is super easy. It's just...
Well, like you said, I did get to play a demo of this, and it's changed since then. But yeah, the 2 things that really jumped out at me when I played it was that the turns are extremely quick.
Yep.
You like you said, play some cards, and by the time you've drawn some new ones, this and that, you're up again. And then that very quickly the players are different. Because
of the technology. Yeah, you got 2
now
technologies.
I'm considerably different from the people around the table. So yeah. So how many players can this go up to?
1 to 4. We are working now on solo variant because it's super interesting to just, we are this faction and we are exploring the space and we have some powers and objectives and goals. So we are thinking about and designing the solo variant. But of course the base gaming is 2 to 4 players with these many different technologies and different things, different paths to victory. Lots of great stuff. We will talk about this game later this year, presenting how it works, but basically I'm super excited. It's a sci-fi game that is fast, thematic, and super cool.
All right, what else have we got?
We have Aftermath, which is an expansion for Cry Havoc, one of the biggest releases for us the last year. Of course, the biggest in the history of the Portal games, one of the biggest overall in the history. Huge demand for the game, lots of positive reviews, including desktop review. Thank you for that. Aftermath takes all the content from the base game, the structures and skills, and double it. So you have another set of structures for every single faction. You have another set of skills for every faction. So this is like replayability goes to the over the roof. Like it is insane at this moment. Every faction will have 6 different structures. Every faction has 10 different skills. The number of different synergies and different sets, how you can play with this strategy and this, insane. So this is for sure a huge thing for all the players who want to investigate and explore different strategies, different ways to winning the game, different ways to playing these particular fractions. Like there's so much content in the box already. What's more, we added variant. There was one, I would not say complaint, but there was discussed thing that the game is shortening at some point when somebody plays so good that gives so many victory points, the game shortens. And some people didn't like it, so we created a variant for that. If one of the players passes the event token, the game is not shortened, but in this particular round, something special will happen. And the new scoring possibilities will happen only for this round. So if somebody is going very, very well, the game gives you new ways to score in this round. So you can catch up or even got beaten if he's really, really good, yes? Gotcha. But the game says, okay, guys, something is going wrong, score that way in this round. For example, prisoners this round, twice as much points. Battles this round, 3 times points. And you have, so now we can catch up, we just have to beat him and we'll win. Okay. So there's a new mechanism, I hope people will like it a lot, our playtesters like it a lot. We have a new mechanism that is at this moment in the playtesting leaders. So each faction at the beginning of the game gets a leader, and this leader has a special ability for the whole game. This is how he thinks about winning the game, this is how he wins the battles. So this is like overall strategy of your faction for this game. Okay. And the last thing is that we have common structures. So this is a pool of the structures that every faction can build. So they are not unique for your faction, but they are next to the board. There is 3 copies of each of these. So the faster you build, you will have more of them because at some point they are out of the pool. And once again, it gives more possibilities, more choices, more things. Should I build this common before it runs off, or I want to build mine? Once again, choices. Lots of the content, small box, but there will be lots of cards and cardboard tokens, these structures for you. And for your questions, Gen Con.
Okay. Also, let me ask you, is this going to be modular, or do you add it all in?
Yeah, so for the structures and for the skills, you just shuffle them into the pool. For the variant with the scoring, you just play with that or not. For the leaders, you play with the leaders or not. And for the common structures, we suggest to play with them because they add so much new levels, I would say, to choices. So we want them to be integral part of the base game.
Okay, sounds good.
Yep.
Excellent. All right, what else have we got? Got one more? Is that right?
Yep.
All right.
This is thing
big
that we
box.
announced like 2 hours ago. So everybody's tweeting about this right now, and we are for the first time presenting it live exclusively here at Dice Tower.
Very cool.
Detective Modern Crime board game. 5 cases to solve.
Okay.
You're investigators. As you are probably familiar with the concept of fourth wall in the theater and breaking the fourth wall, this is something that we are doing here with this game. So you are not only playing the character that is investigator, you're actually being investigator, because in this game you will solve the case not only if you read all the paragraphs in the game book, not if you look at every single handout in the game. You will solve the case if you use the Wikipedia, if you use the Google, if you use like all the things available for you. So we actually using the all information worldwide in the internet to solve the cases. So we are moving the barrier of you're not just reading the game and trying to solve. One of the players is reading the game, the other guy is just Googling stuff and checking the things. And this is like insanely immersive. Like we had this, I don't want to spoil too much with the cases, of course, but just the small thing that maybe will change in the final game. So there's no spoilers in the internet. But for example, we had this when we were playtesting the scenario situation. We were not able to find the name of one of the suspects, and it was a struggle for us. At some point, we were talking with some of the other suspects who said that he remembered the other guy was arrested, and he remembered the day because it was super interesting stuff, because this evening the Mariner probe was sent to the moon. And I said, that's interesting. I went to the Wikipedia, I checked when the Mariner was launched by the NASA, I got the date, and then I went to the website. We have the special website for this game. It will be released, of course, officially when the game is released. And in this website, I said, check the Richmond, because it was the area, and the date of this Mariner launching. And I have the guy is arrested. I found the guy. So actually, I was using the real data from the world. I was using Wikipedia to find the date when the Mariner was sent, and therefore I was able to find the guy in the game. And
so you used real information to find out what I assume is fake information.
Yep.
For this game.
Yep. We are matching the stuff, and at this point it is super immersive. Like you have this aha moment, like I heard about this in the news. Let me check the World War history. Whoa, it makes sense. Like you have using all the information available for you, not only in the game, but in the internet, and you will be able to solve the case. Using this information outside the game will speed up the game. So, for example, of course, you can solve all the crimes without internet, without solving the worldwide information.
Okay.
But if you want to have this aha moments, if you want to, okay, guys, I think I check this one. You're checking something, and okay, we understand it. This is super cool. Absolutely unique, in my opinion, experience. We are super happy with playtesting this. We will release this game next year. 5 missions, these 5 crimes are connected once again because we love campaigns, you know that. So these mysteries will sum up in the final one is like a conclusion of all these small ones that are preceding, and then you have, okay, this witness, this thing, that was a huge mystery here, and you find out about the huge crime that was behind the scenes for the couple of these smaller investigations.
Okay.
Very, very cool stuff. It is written by the guy, the story is written by Przemysław Rymer, a friend of mine, and I'm doing all the gamification, I would say, like the rules and all the other things.
So is the game completely cooperative?
Yes, of course. This game for 1 to 4 players, and they all together have to solve the crime.
And so you said five cases in there.
Yeah.
I guess my big question is, once I've played one, can I replay it, or do I know the answer?
No, they are like cases in time stories or Sherlock Holmes goes to detective. Okay. You know the story as you solved it, and then you can get to another one. We'll see if the game will be successful. We'll see if the game, if people will like the game. Of course, we will release expansions, additional missions, and additional crimes. But first of all, we have to finish the base game and release the base game.
Okay.
Yep.
This is mechanically. Is there anything you can tell me about the game? About what kind of mechanisms you're using?
In the very short words, it is quite similar to Sherlock Holmes Goes to Detective. So you have a game book, you have read to a paragraph, you have to have some conclusion and think what to do. But as I mentioned, we are taking the game book and we are going level up because we are going to internet, Wikipedia, and all the other things. But basically, yes, you are reading the paragraphs, you are having some statement of the witnesses, you are with the dedicated website, because we have dedicated website that looks like CSIs, that you're logging, and you have all the data for the suspects, all the data of people arrested, all the data from the trials, so you can read all the super interesting information, and you log into it. So for example, you get some samples from the crime scene, you send them to the laboratory. The laboratory gives you the information. You put this information to the website. Then, from the other paragraph, you find something. Once again, you send to the laboratory. You get the number. You put it into the website, and the website said matching. And you said, wow, it matches. Yeah. So you get all this, like really, really talking with the laboratory, talking with some scientists, and giving some information. And you're putting this data into the computer, and it tells you, yes, got it. You guys have him. It's super interesting.
So the website is definitely a required part of the experience.
Oh yes. The one probably as we play right now, of course, we simulate the website because it is not super ready yet. So he's playing with the paper that imitates the website. But basically, it's one of the players is like, okay, I'm a hacker, like I'm doing this stuff.
Okay.
And they told me, find a Jack Smith. There is no Jack Smith. Find this guy. Find Richmond. Find this date. Like, and he's just checking data of police department and getting them information, and they are thinking what to do. Super immersive stuff.
But how long is each case going to be?
At this moment, the first case, depending on the players, of course, but it takes about 3 or 4 hours. Is a whole game night, game evening, I would say, investigating in this one case.
So that's each one, right?
One case is about 3 to 4 hours. Okay. It is super interesting. This is a huge case to solve.
Okay.
And lots of thinking, connecting dots, making a map. Like in a rulebook, we are really going to express and introduce how to make the maps to analyze the stuff, so you are not lost in all the different clues and different witnesses. Lots of interesting stuff to discover. Super excited. I'm super pumped. I'm not tired of this game yet, so I'm not as excited like for the first Martians. For the first Martians, I hate this game. For this one, I love it. So,
and I assume, of course, that this will be easily, maybe not easily, but expandable. Something that if it does well, you feel like you want to continue, you can put on more.
If the system is interesting for the players, we can come up with the new missions and new clues and new investigations, like for the time stories, like add new stuff and new stuff. Because if the system is legit, and I believe it will be legit, it will be super interesting for players, and then we just go, here's a new case.
Okay.
Super excited.
Sounds good, and that's next year.
Next year, absolutely. Today we just announced the game. Today is the moment when you send the press release, and we are still developing it.
Good talking to you, my friend.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Go do some question and answers over there with Ignacy, and have fun. Ignacy Cevicek, Portal Games. Hello. That's what he says.